You can do everything you want in a day or two here.
I've never seen a grown man freak out so much.
So like my mom and dad used to have a sailboat out on the Great Salt Lake when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And like we'd go out and like you would have to like de-spider the boat.
6 months into leaving my last profession, we're like, yeah, let's just start another company. Why not?
Well, hey, welcome back for another episode of the ADHD Express. I'm your host, Brian Carlson, and today have I got a good one for you guys. I got my dear friend, Jon Robinson, come along this journey as this guy went from growing up in the country to running a successful machine shop manufacturing firearms to running an elk ranch. Tune in, you guys. This is going to be an awesome episode. Okay, there we go. Thanks for the audio cue. Now we got an audio spike to get started.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Brian.
And thank you for joining us for another wonderful podcast. I have both brothers today.
Hey.
Yeah, Joe and Daniel.
Hello.
Yes. Even with a dead car battery, these dudes did let nothing stop them from being here. So thank you guys for persevering and being here. And we've got another one of my dear friends, Jon Robinson, is joining us. And Jon, while not suffering quite as high as the ADHD, at least on the outside, he has kind of got things under control for the most part.
Most of the time.
But he has definitely been through the journey of, I don't like this job.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm going to start calling it. It's the journey of I don't like this job anymore.
Yeah. Right.
So,
Yeah.
and just life and everything. Your story is fascinating. Why don't you just take a minute and kind of, I guess, introduce yourself to us?
Yeah. So
that
Jon
doesn't know
Robinson, from Wisconsin originally, ended up here in Utah, met these guys. Just came out here to finish college.
Okay.
Grew up on a farm back in Wisconsin. Second generation farm. Ended up out here because my wife finally graduated high school. We were dating at the time. It was here, either here or Fort Collins.
Okay.
Fort Collins, way too liberal for me. Ended up here, and we wanted to move out west. Grew up skiing, and so we moved out here.
Cool.
You know, ski bums. So,
Oh, dude, this is the best place. Greatest snow on earth.
Yeah.
It's on the license plate.
yeah, and just kind of been here ever since. Planted ourselves, and now we've got a ranch and 2 kids, and we're not going anywhere.
It's home. Huh?
Home, yeah.
Dude, it happens to people. They're like, oh,
Just
well, whatever. And then they come
overnight.
here. It just happens here, man. We were talking about this before we started recording. So like the thing that's cool, and I really shouldn't be telling this is because then it's going to bring more people here, but I'm just going to say it how it is, man. Utah's rad. You can do everything you want in a day or two here. You can play in the snow, mountaineering in the snow. In the same day, if you drive fast, you can go boating and golfing and ride motorcycles and, you can get to the mountain bike, and then you can get to the other end of the state and be playing in sand dunes and swimming in Sand Hollows, reservoir, and it's warm down there already.
Only thing we don't have is an ocean.
Valid.
That's the only
But we
thing.
do have the largest body of salt water aside from the ocean in the world.
Yeah, it's the remnant of the Great Inland Sea.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah,
The Great Salt Lake, man. You go out there, and if you're lucky, you might find an F-16 buried out there that crash landed.
True.
I know, right? Like, it's cool.
It's there. Yeah.
It's cool. And like for those of you who don't know, fun fact, it's really hard to drown in the Great Salt Lake
It
because you
is.
can't sink in salt water. You just float when it's really buoyant like
And
that.
it's super fun to take your dog there for the first time, and they try lapping up the water.
That's really funny. I didn't even think about it. I've never taken Tommy out there. He's a water dog. He would be right in it.
And then you feel bad, but it's still funny.
It is funny.
They just get that.
So hang on. So since we just talked about the Great Salt Lake, we have to touch on Antelope Island. Who's been to Antelope Island?
Oh yeah.
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 You guys been out there? So have you guys been out to the Egg Island portion of Antelope Island? So right when you come across the causeway, there is a spot called Egg Island. You go to the right, and sometimes there's a path out to the little island, and sometimes there's not.
Yeah.
Now, it's usually inhabited by, it's a mix. It's a hybrid of like a wolf spider and a black widow, and they are either black and white and brown speckled, or they're like red and then colorful and speckled. They're humongous, and there's billions of them. They're everywhere. They're everywhere.
Not
have you
one
ever
go.
seen that?
Yeah,
you
one
really
go.
have not lived until you go out there and you see it could be nothing other than an infestation. But when you think about it, the only thing else out there is brine shrimp and brine flies.
Yeah.
And so they feed on and so they just cover everything with webs and spiders. They're non-venomous. They're gigantic. They swim, or float, I guess, because you can't drown, So like they cover the boats out there. So like my mom and dad used to have a sailboat out on the Great Salt Lake when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And like we'd go out and like you would have to like de-spider the boat. And now, one thing, I guess, again, I'm a home inspector, so I always try to, like, I want to know my opponent, my enemy, and that is a spider. And in Utah, we have black widows, brown recluse, and hobos.
Yeah.
Those are our nasty guys, plus every other kind of spider. Well, not every other. I guess nothing compared to Australia.
Yeah.
But we have some bad stuff. At least as far as the U.S. goes, we have the 3 baddies.
Yeah.
And so, but a black widow's web is really strong.
Yeah.
Like most webs, you just, and you brush them up. But a black widow's web clings to you, and it's really, like, nasty.
Oh.
And so their webs are like that. And, like, yeah, dude, it's awesome. Good stuff. You should really go out and experience it sometime. And they're like migratory. So the problem is they have spiders, they see something that's not covered in webs, and they're like, new home.
Really?
They come to you, yes.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So, like, when we're out there fighting the boat, like, they'll be cruising across the dock. They'll be coming up your legs. Like,
Yeah, you couldn't pay me to go out there.
it was.
I was about
It's,
to say,
Couldn't do
nope
it. No,
for me.
I remember going out.
You're crawling.
My dad had this friend, and we were out cleaning off the boats, and I had shorts on, and he was messing with me about, oh man, spiders are gonna be on your legs and this stuff, and he's trying to, like, get my goat, right? And I just remember looking down, and I remember there's, like, a spider on my shoe, and so I flip it off, and then I look at him, and I'm like, I'm realizing that shorts is the way to go because I know when they're on me. He goes, yours, they're gonna climb up the inside of your pant leg, and you're not gonna have any idea. And I remember him sitting there within a couple of minutes, dude. Sure enough, he's out there smacking his legs, and, like, your hair tickles, and you're twitchy, and, like, it was really funny.
I get that just thinking about
I know,
spiders.
right?
Yeah.
Well, and so it's funny. The first time we found it, so as kids, and again, I grew up in a different generation, like, we would ride our bicycles from East Layton across, under the highway, over Main Street, and then the 7-mile causeway out to the island on our bikes. Right? That's how you remember riding your bike everywhere when you was a kid, right? Like, they're like, let's 14 miles each way. Be like, well, yeah, but there's a Taco Bell, and for like $4, we can get 16 burritos, so we're good.
Yeah. That was before cell phones too.
It was before
I
cell
had no
phones.
cell phone.
There was no cell phone, yeah.
No.
So we had ridden our bikes out there, and I remember there was a path on that egg island, and my friend was really hot, Sasha. I hope you listen to this, dude. He lives up in Washington now, or Oregon. I can't, Portland. Yeah, Oregon. But I hope you listen to this and you remember this story. You cut off the trail. He cuts off the trail to go rip through all the sagebrush, right? And he's halfway there when he realizes that he's covered in gigantic spiders. So he hits the outside of those bushes in a full-on panic, throws his bike down, just like freaking out into the water, right? Well, then they all just float around the water, and then they just keep getting on you, and it was just awesome. And then there we are up on the trail, not covered in spiders, being like, wow, I'm glad I didn't do that. That really seems like it's going to, nightmare stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, that's a funny story. When I was a kid growing up, we had an old farmhouse, right? 2nd generation ranch.
This is up in Wisconsin?
Up in Wisconsin.
Yep.
And the basement was, a little better than a crawl space. Like you're hunched down walking through this.
Yeah.
There's spider webs everywhere. The furnace is down there. It always floods every year because of the water table.
Sounds like I was in 2 houses that are exactly like that yesterday doing home inspections.
And my dad's down there. We're working on replacing one of the windows. And so I got this bright idea. I might have been like 8 years old. I don't remember. And I got the bright idea to go down there, and there's some stuff on the floor, and I just started running it down his back. Like there were spiders all over him. I've never seen a grown man freak out so much. That's where I get it from. Like, I don't do spiders.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I used to. The home inspection career has pretty much numbed me down to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, for real.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I bet you got way worse stories than that.
Yeah.
Actual stuff crawling on you.
Oh, dude.
Smells.
Dude,
Yeah.
well, actually, what's funny? I was just in a house yesterday that the smell was kind of getting to me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even that gross of a house, but like it just, God, it had a smell, and I was like, man, it's like mouse crap.
Yeah.
They got some dogs that are like messy and smelly, and like it was a couple of those, and it was just like, oh, dude.
Yeah.
I go back outside, you open the door, and you get some air for a minute, and like, and I'm sure people have been to my house and there was an aroma. You know what I'm saying? Like,
every
it
once in a while,
happens.
yeah.
Yeah. Like we all get nose blind in our own homes, in our own spaces. Like that's a legit thing. So
Yeah.
I say that just because I don't want to be like, oh, these people were so dirty. No, they weren't. They were fine.
Yeah.
It was just the smell was
Yeah.
getting to me. That, and again, I had been in 2 other girls. Dude, I had to go in a crawl space yesterday. I kid you not, was like a little tunnel like this. And it just kept getting smaller as it got toward the end of the ductwork. And at the end, you know how thick it was? It was as thick as me, chest to back. Which isn't that thick? Because I was like underneath the ductwork, and I'm like, that's so I got my camera as far as I could, took a bunch of pictures, and then that was about as far as I got in.
Yeah.
Did you? I mean, what are you gonna do when you get in there? You can't turn around. You can't.
No.
Yeah.
I don't do good. I wouldn't do good with that.
No, I know that most people would. And like, and it's
Yeah.
funny that is probably the only thing that I think does get to me is like spurlunking.
Mm-hmm.
Like watching the dudes squish through this stuff. Like
Yeah.
because I do it at work all the time,
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, you couldn't get me in there.
No.
And I say that, but we were down in Kanosh exploring an abandoned gold mine, and we found our way into the mine. So here I am saying I wouldn't do it, and I
you
did it.
anyway, yeah. Peer pressure.
Well, no, it was curiosity. It was my idea. My cousin was quite against it, actually.
Oh, that's why. Okay, I
Well,
get
and
it.
so was apparently whoever owns the land, because it was all fenced off really big. And then
Yeah.
as we were climbing around, we found a spot where the rocks had kind of collapsed and made a little hole.
Mhm.
Oh,
You
was
could
it a vent hole?
Huh?
Was it a vent hole? Did it come up from the very top?
No, it was just above the entryway.
Just above the entryway?
Yeah, it really looked like a slide. It really looked like something. Maybe it was a vent hole, but still, we just shimmied down in there. Again, probably not the bright. I have a video of it. We could post it sometime. We're down in there, and we're like, and we're a couple turns in, following the tracks, and
Yeah.
then like I'm keeping track of where we're going, and we come to like this big like 5-way intersection. I was like, nope, this is where we stop.
Yeah.
It's like this is. I've seen
is
this
it.
in too many videos and movies where they go down the wrong path, and that's where the monster is. So
Yeah.
like, no.
Yeah.
But like, and then as I turn around is when I see like all the little black specks everywhere, the bats.
Yeah.
They're all over the place.
Yeah.
We were in one in, where was that? It's Tooele? Yeah, over in Thule.
Mm, yeah.
We were in Thule, and we went down into this one, and it used to be an old silver mine, and we were going through, and we're gold mining kids. That's just what we do.
I got one more appointment at the end of this month. Maybe we ought to see if your old man wants to come on.
Oh,
So their dad was a miner, and he used like survey stuff for the
okay.
government and on mines and shiz. And so he actually knows some stuff. So we thought that would be kind
Cool.
of entertaining.
Oh yeah.
That's how we made it through that. And literally, at one point, we were crawling up the walls of a straight up shaft,
Jeez.
just with our legs in our hands,
Yeah.
crawling up to try
Yeah.
to get to the third ledge up.
Oh, okay.
All the ladders had crumbled away.
Yeah, we did not. I saw the ladders, and I was like, I would not touch that wooden
Yeah,
ladder.
You're gonna be the
sitting
one that
down.
breaks it. And,
Yeah, there's no way.
Get shafted. Yeah. No thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Why elk, lambs, and bison?
Oh, so what? Hang on. Why don't you ask him first of all what that is?
Well,
What?
Oh,
noble
my
elk?
shirt. Yeah. So the noble elk. So the ranch is called Robinson Elk Ranch. We did a separate meat company. My wife and I, 6 months into leaving my last profession, we're like, yeah, let's just start another company. Why not? Meanwhile, I was also studying to start another company that I run. So we launched
You
two
can
at
talk
the
about
same
all
time.
of that. It's fine.
Anyway, it took months. And to be honest, I got to give credit to my wife. She did 95% of the work, the website, pictures, getting everything up and done. I was studying 12, 13 hours a day, trying to pass tests to get my wealth management stuff, etc. So anyway, we got into elk because I always knew we wanted to raise our kids on a ranch. Our goal with moving out here, I mean, we've been together now 20 years. We were high school sweethearts,
Cool.
and our goal was always to raise kids that way. But moving out here, unless you're born into it or you come into a bunch of money, buying land and having water don't go together.
No.
Yeah, it's super tough, right? Everybody knows that. And I was actually at a safety conference a long time ago, 8 years ago maybe. And the guy teaching it, Chad Hymas, he owns a ranch down in Thule. And he's a quadriplegic, paraplegic, I can't remember.
4 or 2.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Stuck in a wheelchair. He's got some motor function, things like that. I don't want to
Yeah.
I mean, Chad, I love you, man. But he had a hay bale fall on him, and he tells a great story. He does great conferences. I mean, one that I brought me to tears. Like his story and that, it hit me hard. But him talking about that and the elk, it brought that to in my head, and I just was like, you know what? That's what I'm being told to do. And my wife and I are huge archery hunters. As well. So we love to archery hunt, elk, deer, anything we can. And we're like, you know what? We want to share this with people. And it's a great way to have it with the kids. The kids can't really help with the elk yet. Little big, wild, etc. But the lambs, the sheep, that part of it, that's what she does full time. And they help with that all the time. And so it gets them outside doing that kind of stuff. And then the meat stuff, yeah, that was after we started the ranch. We always thought, we'll get a meat company going. We just jumped headfirst into it. And
Best way to be.
yeah, so now we ship meat to all 50 states. And it's a lot of fun.
So how's that? Is that growing pretty good? Is that
To be honest, we the last couple of months I haven't put time into it. So we average the same. We've got some subscription stuff that goes out, but right now it's so hard to balance everything, just like everybody says, right? And dedicate time to all of it. Both kids are in soccer. We got
for sure.
so many things going on, running different operations. So
Awesome.
yeah.
So is it more of not even time? So if you could drive sales in that, then you could probably afford to hire people to ship it and do it, right?
Yes, and that's the goal right now. Is I'm trying to move my office into another office and also have space that I can put a freezer and I could dedicate some time to that. I'm hiring more staff with my other business. So yeah.
Hey, that's the way to be, right?
Yeah.
It's just jumping in.
Yeah, well, and that's my wife and I really, I mean, she's not as of a serial entrepreneur as I am. Like I'm
serial
like,
entrepreneur.
Do this, over here. Like, and then we jump in and do it, and she follows and kills it with me. So
yeah, that's awesome, and that's okay. It takes a leader. Somebody you have to have a leader. So, and honestly, have you guys ever participated in the Myers-Briggs personality test?
Yeah.
Do you know your codes? Like,
yeah.
'cause I'm wondering if you guys are like that super. You're the visionary. She's the integrator, and so like you're like I'm gonna do this, and she's like, well, crap, okay, because that's kind of what I've got going on in my house.
Yeah. Same thing.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't. It's been a while.
It's okay. No,
So
you're good.
I don't know the color codes or what it was anymore. And I know it might not be that one, but like I'm a red and she's kind of a red white kind of a thing.
Okay.
If that might be a different test.
It is a different one. Ours would be like I'm an ENTP, ENTJs.
Okay. Yeah.
4 letters.
That one I haven't done.
Yeah, that one's just, and that's the only one I know. I'm not saying it's not the best or any of that. It's just the one that I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
So that's why I was.
Yeah, it's the 16 personalities. That's what they call it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a fun one to do, but it's very interesting because it's based off of the big 5 personalities.
Okay.
And the big 5 personalities are like each of the letters in it are just a breakdown of those 5 personalities.
Okay. Now
And
I'm interested. We're gonna do it.
Yeah, well, and those color ones, like, so I have my friend Dr. Wade, who's actually going to be coming on this month too. He really likes that one, and he's talked to me a lot about it. And so it's like that's kind of like, well, that's probably my next in line is to learn about the color code one.
Well, it's good. Yeah, I mean, I love them because the company I ran before we would do a lot of that stuff, and it shows you how to interact with different people, and 2 polar opposites. You do the test, and now they can actually have conversation and get along. I understand you're not just being a dick. Like this is just how you communicate.
That's how you communicate.
Yeah,
we were talking about that. There's just a couple old, movie characters. A lot of times they use those 16 personality codes for movie characters.
Yeah.
And so one of the ones, and so you've probably seen Office Space. Remember that old movie?
Oh, yeah.
Remember Bill the boss?
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, man, Bill, I got all this going on. Yeah, I'm just gonna need you to go ahead and come on in tomorrow. like he's totally a tool and a dink, but dude, without him, I mean, that's a really valuable dude. That's the dude I want running my business. So that when people go to call in, he's like, well,
we got work to do.
Something needs to get done.
Yeah, it was just a really funny one. That's just kind of a good example. Like you need specific personalities because not everybody can thrive.
Right.
Like there are a lot of people who look at the chaos that you and I call home and they're like, what is going on? I couldn't do that.
People come and stay with us and they're like, you guys are too busy. How do you do this? And it's just like this is normal life.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right. I don't know what else to do. Yeah. Like if I'm not busy, I'll go take a car apart. You don't seem to understand the issues here. We were talking about this before the podcast. For those of you who are actually following the show, if you notice my chair's not squeaking anymore. So these are like a riveted together metal chair, and I literally just sat here doing this podcast and vibrated my other chair to pieces in like 2 or 3 months. In 3 months, right? Or I guess 5 months really, because we started in January. Yeah, we really did start in January. Yeah, but actually, I don't think these chairs got here till February.
Yeah, that's true. Oh,
yeah, because we were using these chairs.
Right. Yeah. And then you can see I broke feet off of those and ground them down.
Yeah.
Well, now it's funny is I'm trying to be more conscientious of that. I'm trying to I'm not going to wreck this chair.
Yeah.
I just can't help it. I always fiddle right
I'm gonna
here
take care
somewhere.
of the second one.
I know. Well, that was my grandpa's.
Okay.
That's vintage. That's the seat of honor in the shop.
Oh, all right. I like it.
Yeah, that's why we give it to the guests, man. We get you 2 colors of lights, initiating trust and growth and stuff like that. So good for you.
Cool.
So and honestly, that's actually kind of a really good segue. And are you okay talking about kind of some of the different directions that you've pursued?
Oh yeah.
As a person who's done the same thing, and people tell me all the time, they're like, "Oh, it's so interesting." Well, when it's your own story, you've already kind of gotten the dopamine out of it, and it's not really that interesting anymore, right?
Yeah.
But like you, I mean, from the time that I've known you, you've kind of really changed directions.
Yeah. It's something I'd never thought I would do. I mean, the ranching thing was always there, right? But that's not number one. But yeah, before I was jumped into manufacturing and did that for 11, 12 years.
Yeah.
Ran a big manufacturing plant. We did aerospace firearms, everything, helped get another firearms company off the ground. We were in the stages of launching another trigger business. And yeah, I loved that. It was a lot of fun. Got to go to a lot of cool shows, meet a lot of cool people. And then, that I left that 2 years ago now. And I'll attribute this to the agent I had at the time, but I've always been against insurance. I hate insurance with passion. Absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
And now I own my own insurance agency, a wealth management company.
Right.
And what happened was I left that career, and then I just ranched for about 6 months. Cleared my head, stayed home, wife, kids. Like it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like it was great. Probably wasn't the best financial decision, but hey, it worked out.
Right.
And
Right.
we had a lot of fun. I took the kids up in
Isn't
the
it funny
mountains
how
every
like
night.
when the points when you have the least amount of money but the most time are the happiest moments of your life?
Yeah.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah. And I want to get back to that, just like everybody else, right?
Yeah.
And we were in Hawaii with some friends about 7 months after I left that career, and he's my insurance agent, and he's like, "Dude, why don't you do this?" And I'm like, "I hate insurance. This is dumb. Like, this is the biggest scam on the planet Earth." And he's like, "Well, everybody's got to have it, and you could be the guy that helps people and teaches them, educates them, like I did for you, and helps them out." And anyway, it turned everything around for me.
Yeah.
And I love it. I like helping people. But what I've come to know is going from having 100+ employees and now only I'm growing to 6. It doesn't matter the size. It's what I love is growing people, coaching people, and creating a future for them, giving them wealth.
It feels so much better.
Yeah.
Like instead of you raising yourself up in order to make it for them, it's literally raising you both up.
Yeah. I care less about me and more about the people that I'm helping. And so it doesn't. I could go into quilting, like is what I've come to realize. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'll learn the skill. I'll figure it out. I'll figure out how to do it. But what I'm passionate about is the people. And so what I've realized now over time is that's rare. That's hard that's not a lot of people want to do that. They want to elevate themselves. And so it doesn't matter what I do as long as I can put a team together. I'm happy.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Oh, a single pillar always falls, but a skyscraper is built multiple.
See? You know how it works. And I love it. Anyway, that's me.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so I'm doing that, and then the meat company and the ranch, and we usually have like 250 sheep at a time. That's my wife's full time, what she does. And what we do is it's in the research field, and she would hate me for saying all this, but you know what? It is what it is. And I'm proud of her and it. What we do is we raise the animals and sell them. We're a USDA certified ranch, and we sell them to different research facilities. Most of them are universities, Houston Medical, down in Salt Lake, and they do studies for things to fight like scoliosis in kids and things. So we're selling them timed pregnancy animals every once in a while. They go in and do the surgeries while the baby's growing and mom's still at a specific time frame.
Just so that they could know,
they implant the device, then they birth the lamb naturally, and we see what happens. And so we're trying. They're always trying to fix things. They're trying to fix stuff with cancer that way, or heart diseases. And not many people know this, but the 3 most like animals like humans are monkeys, pigs, then sheep. So we're more like sheep than anybody realizes. Nobody likes working with monkeys. They're just mean. Pigs smell, they're big, and sheep are pretty docile. We raise them to be specifically what they want, and we love it. So
yeah, cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And you weren't kidding when you said busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're always doing something. So
yeah, well, and you have to. That's kind of what we always like try to talk about with the ADHD Express, right? It's like, dude, there are so many ways to make a living out there.
Oh yeah,
there is. Yeah, a lot of what everybody's been taught is not accurate.
No. Most people think they can go to the grocery store and that's where their food just shows up.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been like this past 2 weeks, we've realized just how like easy it is to make the things that are at the store, but no one wants to put the time into making it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Bread, that's one of my like he's absolutely slaying it in bread right now.
Oh yeah.
Making a bunch of homemade foods and
Yeah.
stuff.
That's
Just
the way to
realizing
go.
more and more, it's like
So,
tortillas take 10 minutes.
Oh,
you
if
know?
that. Now, here's the
Like-
thing that you really got to watch out. So quit using your American flour and find you some kamut.
Oh,
You heard of that?
Kamut is delicious.
Kamut flour.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have the gluten stuff in it. All the crap
Right.
that America
Okay.
is trying to, the FDA is trying to poison and kill you with. Kamut doesn't have it. It's a European product.
It's a unique flavor. It's good.
Yeah, I guess I don't
But I
really
don't mind
notice a
it.
huge difference.
Yeah.
I've been doing my
You do?
biscuits and gravy with
Have
that
you?
now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm
Yeah,
not
follow
cutting it
it.
out. Yeah. People are always like, oh, he eats so healthy. Whatever. I eat biscuits and gravy all the time.
that's
But
fine.
I also move a lot. I guess that's the other thing is like I should quantify that. I also do a minimum of like 10,000 steps a day at work.
I mean, you broke a chair, bro.
Broke a
You
chair.
just- you're always doing abs.
I'm always doing it. Valid.
Yeah. No, same thing. Like my wife and I, we cook. We've got chickens. We raise all our own meat, obviously. So I mean, we just everything that we put in our bodies is we don't really buy from the store.
Yeah, and you guys don't actually raise bison. Yet.
No, we don't have the bison. I won't.
I really want.
You won't really.
They're a pain, dude. They're so hard to contain.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, they just chill. Yeah, unless they don't want to just
No.
chill, and then good
Yeah.
luck building a fence that'll stop them.
I've got
And then
we've got
herding 'em
friends
where
in
you
Missouri
want 'em.
that have elk, bison, everything. I mean, they send me videos of bison jumping their 8-foot fence.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
like,
so you guys, a lot of people don't know this. So a cow, and I can't remember the names. You might have to help me with some of the different types. So cows don't have like any kind of fast twitch muscle.
No.
So when a cow stands up, right, they go, their butt first and then their legs up.
Just
but
like
a
us.
bison is a bison has fast twitch muscle. So he goes from kneeling to standing instantly.
Yep.
He can squat and pop that 2,000-pound animal 8 feet in the air
yeah. Yeah. It's
with
wild.
some aggression.
Like,
Yeah.
you don't want to be in the field with them. Like, I mean, they'll-
No, and like some people are like, oh, they're just like cows. Well, in a way, but they're a cow that you can piss off, and then it's like a freight train.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's
And
They will go through you.
It's a
yeah.
herd of freight trains because they
Right.
all go together.
Did you watch the videos, the little head twitch of the thing, and they friggin' rock a car?
Oh, yeah.
You know, they'll take a 2,000-pound car and move it 2 feet just by
Yeah.
bonking it.
That's their chute. The way our chute is set up, we just have doors at front and back, so they run through, squeeze them. With bison, that chute wouldn't work, right? They come in and it's a fully encaged, almost kind of like a cattle chute, but there's a 3/4 inch plate of steel in front of them, and they will beat that
And probably make it
till
out of
you let
round.
them out. Yeah,
Or not a square, I should
They
say,
just
right.
want out, right? And so. No, we buy a lot of the stuff, the meat we get, we buy from ranches that have the same, they feed the same way as we do.
Mm.
And I pay them 20% over market. That way I'm helping the rancher out. I go pick up the animals and then take them to the butcher. Most of the time it's, hey, here's my butcher date, all the animals there, their response, all that. Now, I try and give back to them. Because I'm selling direct to consumer. I don't have a middleman. I don't want to. I'm not going to give the packer, more. I want to do direct consumer, just like it used to be. So
Yeah. Cool.
It's the better way to be.
That is the better way to
honestly.
be.
yeah,
So I didn't know that. Okay. So even the bison you guys are taking care of that way.
yeah. Because our elk,
I didn't realize, because the last time we talked, you didn't have the bison hookup, I don't think. Because I love bison, bro.
Do you?
It is
yeah.
absolutely my choice of meat over
also-
anything else.
So
I
good.
want to get we've been the brand is about like inspiring confidence. It's what you put in your body, respect your body.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whole health, all that.
Absolutely.
And, we want to look at kind of incorporating a beef, and the beef I'm looking at is a Watusi. It's a little more lean, less fatty in how they're raised. And I've got a lot of people like, hey, I got a couple of cows I could sell you.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to figure out when we can do it, how we can do it. But
Yeah. I buy a cow from a guy up in Idaho, and they have a really great process. They use a fermented grain finish,
Yep.
and it's pretty outstanding. Like
Yep.
it's still the best beef I've ever. I've had people's beef that's as good,
yep.
but I really haven't ever had anything that I'm just like, okay, mine
Yep.
sucks. This is amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty happy on that front. But yeah, it makes a huge difference.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, it makes a huge difference. I was actually talking to some older folks yesterday, and they were, as I was doing a home inspection in their home. And they decided to stay home because I inspected the home when they bought it for them. And it was like their third or fourth home inspection over 12 years that I had done for them.
Oh.
And so they just remembered me and they were like, we wanted to see you again. We're moving to Japan.
Jeez.
But they were like arguing over nutrition and diet. And like, listen, these people were so confused.
Yeah.
So confused. And it was just like some of the stuff I was like, listen, kind of forget most of what you think you know. Like what you need to focus on is a gram of protein for every pound of body weight you want to weigh.
Yep.
You want to weigh 150 pounds? Well, then you need to be eating a minimum of 150 grams of protein a day.
Right.
And and then they're like, well, that's really hard. Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It ain't
Agreed. And
easy.
he was like, you must eat a lot of red meat. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, what about ethical farming and everything? I'm like, bro, my cows are happy. There's literally, dude has a river that winds through his properties. He took one spot and he winded it out. It's only like 2 feet deep, and they filled it with like pit run rock.
Yeah.
So the cows can go wade in the water without getting stuck in mud.
Yeah.
Not like
there's
those Texas
like
cows.
100 fruit trees all over the property that just drop the fruit.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, no, these are happy because you walk up there and they come to the fence to see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they're happy, friendly cows.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, I know that. So like, I do believe in ethical farming, and
Yeah.
I still honestly probably pay less than you're paying when you go buy meat at the grocery store.
Yeah. I had a snowball fight with my elk this winter, and they loved it. They could throw anything back, but it was like, people don't realize, like, there's ways to do it. Go find your local farmer ranch.
Yeah, dude.
They're popping up everywhere because everyone's starting to go against
Well, we're realizing
the grain.
that's what
you know?
it needs to be. They realize the flaws of what has happened to
Yeah.
us.
I mean, like, so my wife and I, we started the carnivore diet again a couple days,
Yeah, we
this
were
Sunday.
talking about that when we got here. That's great.
And
Yeah,
we feel great. Yesterday was our daughter's birthday, so we went out to a local restaurant, and we stuck to the diet. Right, I ordered 2 elk patties, 2 eggs on top, and bacon. Right,
Nice.
eggs are okay in the diet. Right, that's all I ate, and it's still processed. Right, they're not buying that from a local farmer. I got home and I felt like garbage. And it's just because I've been eating what we raise, which is
those
just
farm fresh eggs, baby.
yeah.
I got all
it's
kinds of
different.
chickens out here. We got a guy coming Saturday to take our rooster. We have them.
The mean one.
Getting rid of him.
Yes, dude. We had some people. We were out of town for the LS Fest, and the neighbor, she's like sending us a video of her going in with a garbage can lid as a shield against Freddy. And I'm just like, okay, like that's not fair. Like you can't ask people to come take care if you have like this ultra aggressive, mean rooster. So,
Oh man, that's got TikTok written all over it.
well, dude, you should see the videos of Tommy and Freddy fighting. You guys have seen it. Like
Yeah.
they go at it like it's the craziest thing. Tommy will get a hold of Freddy by the neck and rip out a bunch of feathers and let him up, and Freddy's like, "Oh yeah," spur Tommy in the face and like,
We used to have a little bantam rooster like that,
really?
and they would just fight and play and play and fight. And then one day the rooster, he wasn't there anymore.
Yep.
The dog just got a little too rough.
Well,
He
that's
was
see, I think we're about there with Tommy. My girls are very gentle spirits, and they would cry. So we have another rooster. They hatched a bunch of eggs.
Okay.
They let them. They marked them.
Yeah.
So we didn't take them out, and we hatched them.
Yeah.
They all died except for one who turned out to be another rooster.
Can't let Brady
funny,
train
yeah.
that one.
Yeah. Well, so he's so skittish because he's never really had human. He was raised by chickens, hatched
Yeah.
and raised by chickens. We can't touch him.
Yeah.
And anyways, we're gonna get rid of the mean one and hope he stays cool.
Yeah.
But like, dude, a mean rooster is awful. You want a rooster? Do you want to take him with you today?
No, I don't know. I don't need more chickens. I'm actually looking to get pheasants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I
Well, you
wanted-
could buy the hybrids. They they call it a frickin'. Have you seen those?
I haven't. No.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously they
Yikes.
can't. Yeah, so it's a chicken mixed with it's like and it's a male, so you have the big tail feathers.
Yeah,
But you
okay.
basically, if you mix them with an Americana, so you get like the shape of the pheasant, but it has the big rooster tail
Yeah.
feathers that are like 3-4 feet long.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's
I
really
haven't
cool.
seen that. Okay.
Yeah, they call them a frickin', which is funny.
I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, I've
Why
actually
not?
been thinking about getting some just because I kind of think it would be cool.
That's
we have
cool.
the huge coop out back, and I got all the land, so I was like,
Yeah. Why not?
why not?
Yeah. Do it.
I really want meat bunnies.
Meat bunnies?
Yes, but my family is really anti meat
Yeah.
bunny right now.
Yeah. Mine too. My daughter she's got 2 bunnies that she's.
So there's 3 that run around my yard that they've
Oh, are
they've rescued them. They find these rabbits that are, oh yeah, my parents make me keep it in a box in the garage, and they're like, oh, we'll just bring it home and let it free in our yard.
All right.
There's dwarf bunnies in my yard, flop ear.
Well, now I know where I can dump hers off, man.
Yeah, honestly, at this point though, I do like seeing him, and he's such a good dog that he doesn't hurt him, and like
Really?
you'll watch him go out there and all up over in the bunny's business, and like the bunny just kind of like takes it.
Yeah, it's funny.
It is pretty funny actually.
That's cool.
I enjoy that.
No, we did meat chickens last summer.
Oh, right. With Dave or just on your own?
With Dave, yeah. So
how did that go?
We grew up. It was great.
We thought about doing. Like I've been talking. I have the land. I thought about just throwing another coop out and just
do it
because it's only 6 weeks. You keep them, right? Is it even
6 weeks? We did 8.
You did 8 weeks to get them a little bigger. So is that a little less tender or what?
No, they just grow more muscle. We used to raise thousands of them a summer as kids, and at home we said we'd never do it again, but we did. And so with 6 of us, we did 2 batches of 100, and just spread apart. And so 6 of us on a butcher day, we all knew what we were doing. It took us about 4 hours to do 100 birds.
Wow. And how long do you think that meat lasted because again, that's 6 families.
Yep. Yeah.
So how much meat does that yield?
About 400 pounds, I think, is what it came to. I'm not sure.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it ended up being pretty good. No, it was more than that. 200 birds. They're average 4, so it was about 800 pounds of meat. We just rented equipment, so I mean, really, it came out to.
Wow, I didn't know you could do that.
Like 89 cents a pound.
Do you use like the defeatherers and stuff?
Yep. Yeah.
So you boil them in the water.
Yep.
Dump them in the.
Yep. Let them go, and then
the thimble bucket.
Yep.
I don't know what else. What is it actually called?
Yeah, their thumb. They call them thumbs. I don't know why.
Thumb
bucket.
Thumb bucket. Thimble, because it's the rubber thing. I just thought a thimble bucket. But so a thumb bucket. I think it just depends on how you were raised. And like the farms that I had the minimal exposure to as a kid that's what I think they called them, was a thimble thing, something, thimble bucket. But my parents one summer, because my brother and I were a little rowdy, they dropped us off on this farm. They didn't even know the people, and I had to butcher so many chickens as like this little kid. It was awful. I also swore I'd never do it again, but here I am.
Yeah, right. Like, and it wasn't bad. You do it as a group, and the kids got to see it, and they, you know what I mean.
Well, the thing is, you can do it a little because do you use the cone, or what did you guys?
Yeah. So we had a thing cone. You let them bleed out.
Right. Is it? And how does do you stuff them in the cone upside down, or does it go over them?
No, the cones are screwed to a board, and so you just set them in. The biggest thing to remember is you buy big clamps and clamp their feet because they will flop.
Yes.
Right? And then they get out and run. Yeah. Not fun. And the kids are screaming and running around.
Yeah. Well, see, that's what I remember because I wasn't strong enough to hold. The guy was like, you just grab the feet and you flop it on the thing and it stuns it and you chop the head. And like I did the very first one and I got it and then it got away from me. And like then I'm running around after a chicken with its head cut off. Weird where that saying came from. Yeah. I was the poor little nerdy. I had blood spots on my glasses. It was, my older brother was there and he saw what was going on and he literally like just hightailed it out into the woods.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw a chicken get killed. Like it was just they grabbed the head and then they just spun it in front of me, no context whatsoever, and I was like, oh.
That
I've done that pheasant hunting, like when I shot a winged one and had to.
It just doesn't get the blood out, right? So the meat's bloodier. That's all. So that's why when you buy a chicken in the at the market and things, it's pretty clean. Same thing.
So because you're bleeding,
you let it drain out. Yeah.
So if you're going to do that, you need to take the time. So you just put like a big old a clamp type.
Yeah, you just put like a wood clamp, big heavy wood clamp or something like that
Spring-loaded.
on their feet, pull their neck out, and
Did you guys hear about the chicken that was literally living with no head?
No.
No,
there was some study, rooster that lived without its head for a year or something like that.
Because it just barely didn't take out the part of the brain where it's able to walk and move. And they literally, it kept running around. And that happens regularly with chicken farmers. They just keep going and then they eventually drop. But this one didn't drop. And it lived for 4 years.
Jeez.
And they would just drop nutrients down its throat.
Huh. That's wild.
Yikes.
Wow.
It was
well, and again, it kind of tells you a little bit about, in my opinion, creation, right? This thing is probably not really thinking.
Yeah.
It is here for food. It is just enough brain process to stay alive.
Yeah. All it knows.
Yeah. It's all it knows.
Yeah.
Eat, poop, reproduce.
Yep. That's all we know.
Always something. There's always something new.
Yeah.
Huh.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I think I still might probably do that and maybe a couple pigs. I don't know. I really don't want to, but you can raise some clean animals and.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone that wants to get into the industry of the meat, got any advice for him?
Just buy it from him.
Yeah, just buy it from me.
The NobleElkFarm.com, right?
The NobleElk.com. I don't know. I mean, because you want what people want is what you're providing them, what you're raising, right? Mm-hmm. And so you have to be able to provide something like that. So our end goal with this is to have to grow and have enough land where we're producing more of the animals. And there's Brian brought up the fermented grain, right? There's actually a guy here in the valley locally that ferments hay. And what he does with it is incredible. He's gotten bison to grow to, grade A meat with them. with this process,
Yep.
and it cuts out the grain. Well, what's in grains? The stuff that you don't want, right? There's a lot of processed stuff in grains that's unhealthy for you. And so doing this, just fermenting the hay and feeding them that, it replaces the grain 100%.
Oh, wow.
And you
So
still
you don't
get
grain
that.
finish them at all.
No.
Yeah, okay.
And you still get that grade A. Now, what does it do? Well, it's fermented feed. That fermented gets into the beef. You guys ever had real sauerkraut? Like
Yeah.
you make it, fermented it, go that route. Same concept, right? You do that, you eat that kind of stuff once a day. How does it make you feel? You get your gut's feeling good, the right gut biome, etc.
I love
Same thing with the
sourdough.
meat,
Yeah.
right? And so that's our end goal with it, is to basically grow grade A elk, bison, lamb using that process to help people feel great. Like we're on this diet of meat only, and I'm eating 4 or 5 pounds of meat a day just to stay at my calorie intake, and it feels great. Same concept. That's what we want to get to everybody. So if somebody else getting into the meat business, you got to have some kind of a niche that you're wanting to fill with folks.
Okay.
And so find that, and even if it's just putting a couple cows out back and being able to support a few families locally, cool, do it. Foot in the door.
I know that Jordan Peterson, you familiar with him?
Yeah, you bet.
So Jordan Peterson, he only eats ground beef and salt.
Yeah.
And it's because he has an autoimmune disease.
Right.
And he's allergic
But
to
he's defeated it,
other things. Yeah.
Yes.
basically.
Simply because of meat.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
There's a lot of people that have all of these things and they don't even realize that they're an issue with what they're intaking and what
Yeah.
they're eating. And just him simply doing that, he cleared up most of his health issues.
Yeah.
He still has some, but
Yeah. But there's a lot of diseases like that today that it could be just cleared up or managed just by if you changing your diet.
Yes, by nutrition. I know they don't like, that's a really unpopular opinion, but it's the pure truth.
It is.
Sorry, it's pure truth.
Yeah.
I watched you watch guy like my dad. I watched my dad die. Diabetes helped kill him. I mean, yeah, he had some, Agent Orange exposure from Vietnam, which I'm sure didn't help.
Mhm.
But, he also never controlled his diet at all.
Yeah.
He always thought it was funny to sneak Cokes and Twinkies. And it's funny, you always see, and I've always wondered that, like, why is it the most diabetic people always have their diet soda? You ever notice that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like my dad would never go anywhere without his Diet Dr. Pepper.
Mm.
Like he lived on that shit. And
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you were diabetic. Like your body is not processing. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
And like he just didn't, dude. And it was like,
couldn't give it up.
yeah. Well, he never drank it before. That's what's so weird.
Oh, really?
Yes. He drank iced tea.
Interesting. Huh.
And then it's like literally he became diabetic, and then he was always sneaking a Coke.
Yeah.
Until he kept getting sicker and sicker, and the
Yeah.
neuropathy and all the other stuff as you mismanage the
Mhm.
diabetes illness, then you shit gets worse.
Yeah.
He just kept getting worse and worse and worse. So then he was like, well, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. Anybody that hasn't done the carnivore diet, just try it once. Just for the way that and listen to how your body is, what it's telling you and what you'll feel like. Like you'll go out to eat and your kids will order some fries or a piece of pizza or something. And it's like your body will say, I need to eat that right now. Right. It's all that crap in your gut that needs that food or the stuff that's in it to survive that's dying off. They call it the carb flu. And it's crazy to go through that and then come back. And then when you come back to eating that stuff, you'll feel sick as well.
Yeah, that's
know?
what my wife and I have noticed is we've kind of really cleaned up our diet and I mean we eat basically meat and vegetables is what we do.
Yep. Yeah.
And yeah, every time I go try to have stuff, it just messes me up. I mean, I even had to cut out alcohol for God's sakes.
I'm the same way.
I just don't feel good. I have a drink and you're like,
No.
crap.
Yeah.
Like-
I love scotch. And it was like 3 nights ago, I poured myself a little glass, sit on the couch, and I'm like, I feel like shit.
Yep.
The next day I woke up with a headache. I mean, it was like I put an ounce of scotch in a glass with ice.
It's called
That's
a finger. I poured a finger pull.
it. Yeah. Yeah. And it just,
Yeah.
can't do it anymore.
Nope. And it's fine. Like and that's the thing is I would rather just feel good.
Yeah. Me
I'm
too.
like okay with it.
Yep.
It's a sign from your body saying that it
Well, right.
shouldn't be having that thing.
Just listen to it. And everyone's just gotten so used to how this other junk makes your body feel that it's just the norm.
Everyone's used to feeling like trash.
Yeah.
Right. Tired, lethargic.
Yeah. So then we get all this
Unmotivated. Yeah.
prescription stuff, etc. I mean, the testosterone stuff.
We talked about
we talked about that a while ago, and
Yeah.
now I'm off of it. I quit. I've been off of it for 3 weeks now,
Yeah.
and I thought I was going to just crash, and I haven't. I feel good. I can't complain. My wife's happy.
Yeah, I bet.
You know how the modern like prescription society came about?
The FDA.
Oh, it's faster than that. You
No.
know why doctors started prescribing medications to treat things?
Mm.
Well, it was because he was the guy that owned big oil,
Yeah, Rockefeller.
Rockefeller.
Yeah, it goes all the way back to Rockefeller.
Mhm.
He had to figure out a way how to continue using his petroleum because the government was shutting him down
Yeah,
for a
broke up his
monopoly.
monopoly.
Hmm.
And so he went on to all of the colleges, gave them a crap ton of money, and said, "Here you go. Now use this stuff in order
Yeah.
to make medicine."
Yep.
And then he petitioned the government in order to make it so that it was required to have all of these things to fix these problems.
Yep.
But at the core of it, it was just him trying to get back at the government.
All
Yeah.
right.
I mean, 60% of the medications have a natural, like,
Counterpart.
thing. Yeah, a natural
Come from
thing, a
something
plant
natural.
or something that you can.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Everything's just synthesized versions because they can't patent a plant.
Yeah. And that was the biggest reason I got off testosterone. I mean, I talked to Brian, obviously, and I'm like, maybe he just doesn't feel right. I don't know. And so I stayed on it for a minute, and then my wife and I started talking about it, and I just started feeling more sluggish. And I started
realizing
doing
it.
more research, and it was like, oh no, my red blood cell count's through the roof. My blood is thickening. I'm at risk for heart stuff. And all my doctor was like, yeah, you need to go drain your blood, and then let's get keep taking it though.
Yep.
And I'm like, nah, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like it got me through what I needed to, the stressful part of my life, because I was in complete adrenal failure when I got on it. So yeah, there was a reason I did it. I took it. There was probably other ways. But
Yeah. That was the quick, easy answer.
it was a quick, easy answer at the time. I mean, I lost 50 pounds. I went from 195 down to 145 in 3 months. Just stress failure,
Huh.
And so it fixed me. But now I'm happy to be off of it and just
Yep.
It's
Yep,
a much
lot of side
better
effects
way to
there.
live, honestly.
Right. Well, that's honestly been after because I feel like a lot of my health issues came from the doctors. I was like,
Yeah.
I was doing pretty good, but I was having some issues. And then I started seeing the doctors. Oh, well, you need this and this. And then everything just started going worse. So then it's like I did everything I could to get off of everything that they'd give me. And now we're back up to like, oh, okay, hang on. I'm getting better again.
you feel good. You're managing your
Everything.
your ADHD, and all this stuff. Like
Yep.
you feel more normal than you ever have.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah.
actually going to mention that some of the things that I've learned are the most critical as far as kind of managing that ADHD is sleep and nutrition.
Oh yeah.
And like we were talking about that casually just the other day about you were like, well, man, it seems like as soon as the sun is totally down and everybody's ready for bed, he goes, I'm alive.
That's when I turn, like, I am groggy until the sun goes down. Like, I can't. Like,
And remember,
even when I
Bruce Lee
don't
always
drink
says our
caffeine-
words have power. We believe
Yeah.
our words.
Yeah,
And
it's
so we
very
have to-
true.
It's true.
So I'm just learning, and again, I'm not even telling you that you're right or you're wrong, but what I have learned is that by getting that consistent sleep, and like I said, I still am up at 4 every day.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. You remember with the test?
Oh, yeah.
Once you get healthy again, like you're just that way.
Yep.
And if I take something to sleep and I sleep too much, like I don't sleep the next day.
Yep.
So like I have to like really manage it.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
like I even like, I know my face is really white. That's all the stress. You get a SWAT team coming to kick your ass, and like that's going to age you up a little bit. But like other than
Yeah.
that, like my eyes, all that stuff don't show that tiredness, that kind of thing. And again, it's that diet, nutrition, and rest.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what helps me manage my ADHD.
Yeah.
I feel like overrest is an issue that people
Yeah.
don't realize too. Like for
Big
me,
time.
when
Big
I
time.
oversleep, I'm way more tired than if
yeah.
I undersleep. Like if
Oh,
I
yeah.
get not enough sleep, yeah, I'm tired, but I'm still clear and good. But when
Yeah.
I oversleep, it's like I can't think. It's
No.
just bad.
Brain
Well,
fog
and
bad.
without exercise. So that's the other thing I think that I have learned is without the daily exercise. Now, some people are like, well, you got to have your time of rest. If you're training hard,
Yes.
I don't train hard. And again, I'll take my shirt off at the beach, and I am definitely not the most buff guy there, but my pecs stick out further than my belly does.
Yeah.
You can see the outline of my abs, my
Yep.
lats. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I'm not weak. I mean, and again, we all know that being ripped and all that's really unhealthy.
Yeah.
We know that those
Yeah.
dudes are
No.
dehydrated and
You're healthy.
starved for 30 hours to look
Yeah.
like that.
Yep.
And so that's not healthy, but and so again, I'm not, and I don't train like I used to try to get buff and big. And now it's more of I just want to be able to move and not hurt.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I do. I went to this this dad's yoga class the other night. It was really funny because like I was probably twice as flexible as the instructor.
Oh, really?
And like the instructor was like, maybe you need to be teaching this.
That's funny.
Is that with the machine shop
Yes.
owner? Oh my gosh, I just met him yesterday and he invited us to the yoga.
Wait, no,
So
because he was here. He was here on the podcast. Or were you not here for when he podcast?
I don't think I was here that time.
Didn't he come on? I swear he's been on
name?
here. Aaron Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on.
Yeah.
Were you not here? Maybe it was Mikey or one of the days you couldn't come.
Yeah, I must not have been
Okay,
here
yeah,
for
he was
it,
already
yeah.
out here on the podcast, but yeah, it was really funny.
That's hilarious.
And it was kind of, I was like, okay, yeah, I get, because now again, just for I do 2-a-days. Like I do mobility twice a day. I do it when I wake up and I do it before I go to bed.
That's awesome.
So I've had to. Literally that's what I've done
Yeah.
to replace 800 milligrams of ibuprofen every 8 hours.
Yeah, it's important. Yeah.
I had to do something. I
Yep.
use turmeric and magnesium at night.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know?
Magnesium's huge.
Right.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
Well, but it's harder for your body to process it. That's why you mix with the turmeric. You want a healthy, easily soluble fat substance.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Egg drop soup.
there you go. Sure. Yeah.
Recently, I've been absolutely amazed. Have you guys seen what's it called? Pops has been using it all the time.
And Benazol.
Benazol.
Uh-uh.
Okay, this stuff I don't know what it is, but like I was very skeptical at first. But it's a dewormer. But
I just use chewing tobacco for that. I'm just kidding. I saw him do it on a cow once.
Yeah, right.
It's absolutely insane what we have seen. Just
That's
from the
not a joke, by the way. That's actually
No,
legit how you
we've
do
done it
it.
on
I'm
sheep.
sorry, Joe. Go. I'm so sorry.
It's all good. So we've had four different people that our dad has turned this fenbendazole onto that have it has completely changed
Really?
their entire.
I mean,
Actually,
we know there's a ton of
like,
stuff that
We've
we're
had
eating. that
four
has
of them that it actually cured their
Their
cancer,
cancer.
which is crazy. And I was like, no way, like skeptical on it. But just last week, we got a call from our uncle who was terminal, and they said that he was not going to live. He started taking it, and in 3 weeks, it gone.
Wow.
He has no sign of cancer.
We had another one that had
Whatsoever.
leukemia
Wow.
and gone. And they just continue
Wow.
taking it.
So what is it?
So it's a dewormer, and what it does
Okay.
is it makes it so that the worms and the parasites that are inside of your body
Mm-hmm.
cannot feed on you. It makes it so they're incapable of eating. So then your body is able to process them,
Expel
get
'em.
rid of them, expel them,
Yeah.
and then as soon as they're expelled, your body is able to fight off all of the stuff that is attacking you.
Huh.
Yeah, I've been amazed. I was super skeptical
Did you
on
guys
it, but
try it?
then, yeah, I took it for a little bit, and I mean, I haven't been taking it just because.
You have to
Haven't really
eat
felt
regularly,
the need
and we
for it.
forget a lot. But
Well, and you're supposed to mix it with fatty foods
Okay.
because the parasites are going to eat off of that. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I've just been amazed. Like, I was super skeptical on it because I was like all this stuff on the news and like people are talking about it.
Yeah.
But I was like, no way, like it's actually doing that. But then just enough people have come back and said that it's done crazy
Well, that means
stuff
that
for
they're
them.
Gonna, they're going to outlaw that shit.
Yeah, it's gonna
Hurry
be
then.
legal
That's
in
going to
6 months.
absolutely be. Yeah, the FDA is not going to allow that.
Like
Taking away
Ivermectin
their money.
Yeah.
The only reason that they created cancer for us is to make money. I
Yeah.
mean, like it's all it's
Oh,
the
yeah.
FDA. I
Right.
know people are like, well, is it FDA approved? Like, who cares?
Yeah.
There's people who will poison the shit out of you
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then make money and laugh while you're going to the doctor and the pharmacy and the grocery store.
They make
Right.
more money on you.
20 years ago, they wouldn't even feed high fructose corn syrup to cows.
No.
Yeah, because we were going to eat the cows.
And now it's in
Everything.
Yeah.
We try to avoid it really, really hard. That's one of the biggest ones. One of the big ones.
Yeah, us too.
It's hard too, and like that's it.
Especially for your
It's
kids. Like
everywhere.
if you,
Dude,
go
it makes
a
them
week,
crazy.
it makes them so crazy. Like you go a week with being diligent on making them not taking it, removing it at all
Yeah.
from them, and you'll just see that. Oh wow, that's a normal child.
Yep.
They're not bouncing
Yep.
off the,
The
walls. They're
FDA
not
has
crazy.
created all of this stuff. Maybe not 100% of it, but lots and lots and lots and lots
Yeah.
and lots and lots.
So
Yeah.
to ask you being in like that kind of industry, do you get heat for regulations? Like, is there a lot of regulations that they
Oh yeah.
enforce on you?
Oh yeah. Like all of our labels, packaging, everything is governed by the USDA.
What
Do you feel
about
like
for
any
like
of
the
it's actually
raising?
important, or is it mostly just
No, man,
Go.
they follow a rule book, and I mean to the T. Like all these butcher shops that you go to, there is a USDA person on site, and they inspect everything. I mean, full time there, and that's what they're doing. And so at a kill facility anyway, they're packaging, doing all this work, and you have to follow everything to the book on it. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's the right way. So say when you make brats, right? There's other ingredients you're putting into it. What's one of the biggest ones that they put in there now?
Well, if it
MSG.
oh
Really?
Yeah. Why? Because it's in they have to. Okay. There are spices that they can substitute in for the MSG, but the main ingredient, they're like, no, you need to put this in there, is MSG.
Really?
Why?
Yeah.
It's just like
Because
a
it's causing
flavor
cancer.
enhancer. Yeah, it's just
because
a
it's a
flavor
known
enhancer.
carcinogen.
Yeah. And so it's
Yeah.
like,
They're
no,
trying to get us that there's no money. There's in
No.
a healthy, well populace.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
None. I mean, go anywhere else, like what was it, Europe or some other country the other day? I just saw them that they banned this new development of the lab grown meat.
Oh, right. Italy was the
It was
first to
Italy.
ban it. Yeah, good
Yeah,
for them.
you cannot import that into Italy. Period. Why? Because they know what's in it.
Yeah. We have like 68,000 chemicals that are in the US that we use for anything from like shampoos and conditioners to our food that are banned in every other country.
Yeah.
68,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Thank
that's
the
a
FDA.
lot.
And it's funny, the people out there who are like, that's not what they're doing. Yes, it's 100% what they're doing.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
There's papers on
That's all
it.
they're doing.
Like,
Yep.
Hey, go buy from your local farmer and see how much better you feel.
yeah.
Big time. Yeah. And the thing with it is, so it requires some forward thinking, though. That's the one downside. Like, because it's expensive to buy a steak from the farmer,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's cheaper to buy the side of beef.
Yep.
A lot cheaper.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Wait, really? That was
We can go over
fast.
it.
We try to hit them all like an hour. I thought we were
Yeah.
only about 30 minutes in. That's really crazy. Normally
So
I
did
get
I.
to a spot in the podcast. I look down. I'm like, oh, yep, 36 minutes in.
Okay.
A little carried away.
I had to
it's
go
good
check
times.
his because mine stopped for a second.
Oh, no.
Space filled.
Yeah, we need to make sure we delete some of these. They're getting pretty full.
Yeah.
Well, dang, man. John, that's pretty cool, man. You're got a cool story going on, man. You've had some really neat experiences.
Yeah.
I really want
been
this
fun.
Noble Elk thing to work out for you.
Yeah, us too. I mean, we're gonna. It's just finding the time to put into it.
Right.
Spring is busy,
You
etc.
need to be doing media posting, and there's just so much to it.
It's I need to find someone that can do that because I'm so
Weird.
tied up in other stuff. But
Weird. It's almost like somebody we need to know that has a business called Dreamline
they can do that.
Agency. That's what they do for a career.
That'd be great. Just something to just push it further down the road, right? Yeah. We just don't have the time to do it.
Yeah.
And
A lot of people
stuff
don't.
like this.
So that's the problem with, honestly,
Yeah,
that's
this-
the one thing with solo entrepreneurship is wearing all the different hats.
Yeah.
This stuff, like he just told us, I don't know if that was on the podcast where it was a minute for a minute of video, it's an hour of editing.
Yeah. No
A
thanks.
minute of video is an hour of editing. Hear that and recite that.
Yeah.
And when you're like, I'm going to be a YouTube star,
Yeah.
a minute of video is an hour of editing.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
There's times where you'll sit there and you'll talk for a long time, but then you're gonna mess up a couple of times. And
Yeah.
people really just want jump cuts, honestly. Like you see them, they're
3
called jump
seconds.
cuts, and it's people will say something and then you'll see them twitch, but it's them switching the camera to them talking again, so that they don't have to be like, "Oh my goodness, this is the way it is. Oh my good, It's, oh my goodness, this is how it is. Okay, what am I gonna say next? Oh, this is how. Like that's, and then they take the what am I gonna say and then cut it out.
Yeah.
So a minute of edited footage. That's a better way of putting
There you
it.
go. Minute of edited footage.
That's the way to say it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so anyways, that's pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, for everybody who's watching this, if you are dying to try some fresh elk, lamb, or bison, jump onto the nobleelk.com website. Although
put
I've
it in the
already been
description.
on there and it only showed bison sausages.
Yeah. So right now it's just bison sausages.
Can I buy
bison
half a
chipotle.
bison from you?
We haven't gotten to a point. I guess so many people ask, "Can I buy a quarter or a half or stuff
Yeah.
like that?" And it doesn't work the way that we do it. Right, I'm giving 20% back to the farmer. It doesn't work that way. It's just the business structure. We'd go out of business.
Okay.
So selling, that's why we do the individual cuts. People can get order exactly what they want, but we want to do it. Include bison into some monthly subscription boxes that
Okay.
we've got going.
Yeah.
Just because that way too, it just comes in, you get what you want. It's discounted. So if you're on a subscription, you always have a discount applied on there because you're just ordering.
Do you have a name for those subscription boxes?
Oh, yeah, there's like the family one, barbecue box. They're
There's
all
a whole
on the
bunch of
website.
them. Yeah, I was actually just cruising through their website for a second when he was talking. I just thought
Everything
it was
right now
cool.
is 50% off.
Lamb kebab
Oh.
meat, lamb stew meat,
Check
rack
it
of
out.
lamb, shoulder
Yeah.
chops.
we're going through. We're just trying to purge what we've got and bring in new stuff. So we're going to bring in some more elk, bison, and do patties, hamburgers. We want to get into snacks, but we're rebranding our packaging, going to a different processor. So that's why the 50% off. We're
Oh
trying
yeah,
to
I was just
process
like,
what
wait,
we've
everything's
got.
50% off.
Yeah.
Whoa, 50% off the Noble Elk, you guys. Go
Other than
online.
hamburger, okay, because everybody buys the ground.
Yeah.
Like that'll be the first thing to run out.
Dude,
So
I'm gonna probably order that elk family package today.
yeah, I've had a couple of local guys that just keep ordering stuff once a week because it's cheap, and I'm like, as long as we've got the stuff there, that's what I mean. Till we run the next batch, but
Dude, the sampler, the lamb sampler.
if you don't like lamb, you gotta cook it better.
Right.
Yeah,
If you don't like lamb, it's
right.
because you haven't given
Suck
it a
at
proper
cooking.
try.
Yeah, you
It's
really,
the best, dude.
It is. I mean, I eat a pound of lamb for lunch every day,
And
and
we were actually
It's
talking
good.
about how are you cooking that again? I know you said like are you just throwing some spices on it, chopping it up, and
yeah. So we don't. So ground lamb we usually cook in like taco seasoning, and then we'll just
Okay.
throw it in with eggs and stuff like that. But I'm doing lamb chops, shoulder chops, other those cuts, and I'll throw it on our Blackstone with some bacon grease on it, and do like a sweet garlic salt type of seasoning with onion in it, and then rosemary,
yeah.
and they taste.
So you guys, for some of you guys who don't know, you do need to introduce some, like he said, bacon grease. So when you
Yep.
cook your bacon, you can pour it through a paper towel, strain it,
Yep.
and then you throw that in there, and you're introducing some really good healthy fat, clean fat into
Yeah.
that rendered fat. I mean, good to
Yeah.
eat. Like it's
Yeah.
tasty.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the way you want to cook those really lean meats like that. Kind
Yep.
of help you out in the kitchen there. So yeah, you guys will go check out thenobleelk.com. And as always, right, subscribe, like, follow, give us a comment, help us keep this podcast going, help us grow, tell your friends, share somebody with a podcast, say, hey, it's really fun to make fun of these guys when they do this. Or you might even like us. So, hey, and then stay tuned. I think we're going to try to get the whole crew out to McLaren for the racing simulator.
No,
That would be sick.
So I'm just going to build a little hype for that. For those of you who stay to the end of this podcast, I was able to hang out with the marketing director for McLaren at the LS Fest, and he invited us out to participate in their race simulator. So look forward to that in the near future. Cool. Thanks for joining us, John. Appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Okay. See you guys.